We will be spending 15 to 20 minutes and we will be discussing all about PMP exam, and I'll walk you through the entire process. Okay, so the first thing is eligibility criteria for the exam. This exam, Project Management Professional, this is administered by Project Management Institute, and this is one of the prestigious certifications and the most renowned certifications in project management. And probably I would say the only certification that is widely recognized all over the world, regardless of geography. So this is administered by Project Management Institute based in the US. So eligibility criteria is the first thing you to understand for this exam. So in order to be eligible for the exam, one needs to have a bachelor's degree, 4 years bachelor's degree, plus 3 years, minimum 3 years of project management experience. And in addition to that, 35 contact hours of project management training. So these are prerequisites for this exam. This course would fulfill this criteria. At the end of the course, you will receive a certificate as a verification that you have successfully completed 35 contact hours of formal project management training. And I'm sure all of you have bachelor's degree and minimum 3 years of project-related experience in any capacity, right? So that is the eligibility criteria for the exam. In case you have any question, you can ask. I'll be answering your question. You can just unmute yourself whenever you have questions. So don't hesitate to ask questions, right? That is important. Okay. So after you met eligibility criteria, the next step is you need to submit your PMP application. So once we complete the training, so if I talk about steps for the training, so step 1 is fulfill the eligibility criteria or complete 35 hours of training, step number 1. And we will be completing our training on Thursday. Once it is done, then step 2 is you will be writing application. Very simple, easy process. So you will be visiting www.pmi.org and you will be submitting your application. It's very easy and simple process. We will be talking about application on the last day, but you can connect with me anytime to discuss your application and I'll be assisting you in submitting the application. Right. Once this is done, then there would be step 3. Step 3 would be processing exam fee. After your application is approved, PMI takes 5 to 7 days to review the application. Once application is reviewed, next step is processing exam fee. That is easy. After that, step 4 would be you can schedule your exam. Now, exam can be taken in 2 ways. First is you can take exam online at office or home, number 1. Second, you can take exam at the exam center. We call it center-based exam. Now, if you have nearest PMI Pearson VUE center, go to the center. Otherwise, if you don't have connectivity issues, if you don't have electricity problem, if there is no disruption, you can go for online exam at home. Okay, once you write the exam and you pass it, then you will get your certificate, and that would remain for 3 years. Okay, and then you need to renew it. So we call it certificate maintenance. So the renewal procedure is very simple. You need to spend 60 hours in your personal or in your professional development. We call it, you need to earn professional development units. Professional development units could be any training, could be any seminar, could be reading a book, could be delivering a speech, could be having discussion with the colleagues, right? Anything. That's easy. That's not a problem. So this is a simple process that you need to follow. Step 1 is training. Step 2, submit application. Step 3, processing exam fee. Step 4, schedule your exam and then take your exam, right? Okay. Now I'll be spending some time to talk about exam, how the exam would look like, exam structure or exam pattern. So this is a single exam in which you will be having 180 multiple choice questions, right? And in order to respond to 180 questions, you will be having 230 minutes. So roughly we can see 76 seconds for each questions, which is a good amount of time, right? It's not like that. It's very difficult to manage that. No, it's manageable. It's doable. Time management won't be an issue if somebody has practiced enough number of questions, right? So time management won't be a problem. So roughly 76 seconds for each question. Now, exam is divided into 3 sessions. So when you start your exam, there would be session 1. In session 1, you will be having 1 to 60 questions, right? And after that, you will be having an optional break for 10 minutes. You can have a break for 10 minutes. You can skip this break. However, I strongly recommend go for the break. Once you complete your 60th question, then the next thing is break, go for the break. Then you come back after 10 minutes, and then there would be session 2, in which you will see question number 61 to 120. And then there would be another optional break for 10 minutes. That is second break. After that, there would be session 3. And in session 3, you will see questions 121 to 180. So this is how your exam is structured in 3 different sessions. Session 1, session 2, session 3, and within these sessions, you will be having 2 optional breaks of 10 minutes each. Now, remember, there is no specific or fixed time for each session. You have to manage your time yourself. So on average, you have 77 minutes for each session, right? So, or just to make things easier and simpler, do not spend more than 80 minutes for this session, maximum. So solve first 60 question maximum in 80 minutes. So this is maximum. You can do that in 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes. So you'll see a clock on your screen that would be ticking backward from 230 minutes to 229, 228, 227, and so on. So when you are left with 150 minutes, you should be able to complete session one, means you should be able to respond to 60 questions, so maximum 80 minutes. And then 75 minutes for session two, maximum, and 75 minutes for session three. This is how your total 230 minutes should be planned. If you do not manage time this way, then it would be challenging for you to complete 180 questions in 230 minutes. This is a simple guide about time management. However, how to learn managing time, it depends upon how much mock exams do you do. I'll come to preparation part of it. Okay, so exam is in 3 sections. Now, what sort of questions you can expect in the exam? So if I talk about types of questions, most of the questions in the exams would be multiple choice questions. So roughly 90% of the questions in the exam would be multiple choice questions. Or I would say even more than that, 90 to 95% questions would be multiple choice questions, in which you will see a statement of 2 to 3 lines, sometimes 4 lines, and you need to, and there would be 4 options, and you need to select the most suitable option. So for example, you will see a 4-line, 1 to 4 line statement, and 4 option would be given to you, and you need to pick one, the most correct option. So 90 to 95% questions would be like that. Remaining 5% questions would be, so one type of question would be very, very prominent these days is cross-match questions. We also call it drag and drop. Cross-match or drag and drop. So you can expect 4 to 5 drag and drop question in the exam. Out of 180, 4 to 5 would be drag and drop. So for example, how drag and drop work? So on one side, you will be having some words. Let's suppose project, program, portfolio, operations, right? Or let's suppose organizational management. And exactly opposite to these, you will be having 5 different statements written in an inaccurate order. So maybe something is written here. So, and you need to match. So how would you be matching? For example, you would be saying, okay, this project definition is this. So you will be simply dragging this option here on top of whatever the relevant definition is. You will be picking the next one and you will be dragging wherever is the right answer. So this is drag and drop question. Very important. Students, they struggle on drag and drop questions, right? So just to help you understand what sort of questions you can expect in the exam. So you can expect 5 to 6 drag and drop question in the real exam. And this is how it is structured. Right. Along with that, you can expect some questions in which you have to choose multiple answers. So for example, I have given you example here where there would be a statement and 4 options are given. You have to select only one correct answer. Sometime it would be specifically mentioned select 2 or select 3. So you can expect 2 to 3 those questions as well, right? So multiple options, multiple select. You can take your own notes. However, I will be sharing these as well with you, okay? So multiple options, multi-select options. So you have to select more than one, and it would be specifically labeled like select 2. Most of the time it says select 2. And you can also see somewhere, sometime it says select 3 out of available options. So you can expect 2 to 3 such questions in the exam. You can also expect 1 or 2 questions that we call hotspot questions. Now, what is hotspot? Hotspot questions are easier questions. So for example, you will see a graph like this. So let's suppose this is a progress chart, okay? On one side, we have time. I'm just giving you an example. On the other side, you have your project progress in percentage. It's going up, let's suppose, right? And you will see a graph, something like that, like an S curve, right? Something like that, maybe. And here, some, duration is written. It could be in month, it could be in percentage, it could be anything, right? So let's suppose we say Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And here we have percentage, 15%, 30%, 45%, 60%, 75%, 90%, and then 100%. Okay. And there would be a statement, and the statement says, click on the spot where performance is suppose 50%, right? So it's very easy and simple question. So you need to see, okay, 50% is somewhere here, right? So you will be clicking this spot, right? So this is called hotspot. This is a simple example. You can see slightly complex graph as well, right? But you can expect roughly 2 to 3 questions from this section as well. 2 to 3 hotspot questions. Right. So this is how your overall exam is structured, right? We have different types of questions, and most of the question in the exam would be multiple choice questions, right? I hope it is clear. Okay. Now, next question could be, what is the passing criteria for the exam? So remember, PMI officially does not publish any passing criteria. based on experience of hundreds of students who have passed PMP exam, passing criteria is around 70%, 60 to 70%. That is the passing criteria. So you can roughly expect to answer around 120 to 130 correct answers out of 180. So that is the passing criteria. Next question could be, is there any negative marking? No, there won't be any negative marking in the exam, right? So there won't be any. So always try to complete or respond to all 180 questions. Now, next step is preparation. How to prepare for the exam. What you need to do to prepare for the exam. First thing is this PMP exam preparation course. If you take the course attentively, I can guarantee you 50% of your preparation would be done during these 4 days. You're highly experienced professionals. You have been working on projects in various capacities, right? So you have basic understanding how projects are governed. So if you stay attentive during the course, then half of preparation would be done here. Now, how we would be completing the remaining preparation? That is very simple process. I have sent you some material. I have sent you course slides, right? And second thing, you will be having course notes, right? And third thing, for those who would like to read, I would be recommending a book as well that I will be sharing at the end of the course. You need to get that book. So the first thing is complete the course. Once the course is over, step 2, go through the course material, whether it is a book or whatever is your preference. You can review your own notes, you can go through slides, you can go through recordings of these sessions, but I strongly recommend you at least read one good book for exam. And I would be recommending a couple of books. At least read one good book for the exam, right? So read the book, right? Spend at least 15 days here in reading the book. And step 3 is solve practice exam questions. So practice exam questions. I will be sharing a few sources where you can access exam questions. And then review your progress or performance in those mock tests. If your score is around nearly 70%, means you are ready to write the exam. So simple process. What's the process? I repeat, step 1, attend the course. Step 2, read the book. And step 3, practice mock test. Simple thing. Attend the course, read the book, practice mock test. That's the simple strategy that you need to follow. There might be a question in your mind, how much total time one needs to spend in preparation, right? So preparation duration. So although it varies, however, 30 days of dedicated studies are more than enough to pass PMP exam. If you could manage 2 to 3 hours on daily basis, or if you could manage 2 hours on daily basis, maximum 30 days you need. So in terms of hours, 60 to 90 hours of dedicated studies are required to pass the exam. Of course, it varies. Some students, they did pass exam in 15 days, some did in 5 days, but mostly on average, people pass exam in 30 days. So that's what you can keep in your mind, right? So yes. Now, next thing would be what would be tested in the exam? What skill set would be tested in the exam? What is the exam content? If I talk about exam content is based on PMI talent triangle. Exam content is based on PMI talent triangle. Now, what is PMI talent triangle? PMI talent triangle says a good project manager should have three types of expertise. A good project manager should have three types of expertise. A project manager should be good in leadership skill set. So your leadership skills would be tested in the exam. Second, technical skill set, knowledge about processes, knowledge about tools and techniques. And third, your business understanding, business acumen. So course would test three different areas, three different skill sets: your leadership expertise, your technical knowledge, and your business acumen. If I talk about in terms of percentage, so leadership skill set or people skill set are 42% of the exam. Technical skill set or processes are 50% of the exam. And business acumen is 8% of the exam. So this is how 100% of the course is structured. Leadership or people management is 42%. Technical knowledge is 50% and business acumen is 8%. Okay. Now this is your exam. How this course would be covering 100% of the exam content? The course is divided into 6 lessons. Course is divided into 6 lessons. So let me talk about those lessons. So we have lesson 1. We will be starting our discussion from lesson 1, that is about business environment. We will try to understand different types of environments or organizational structures in which projects are executed. Then we have lesson 2, that is project initiation or starting the project. So we will be talking about what exactly we do when we start project. And then we will be having lesson 3, that is about plan the project. So first initiation, then planning. Then we have lesson 4, that would be about leading project management team. And then we will be having lesson 5, that is about supporting team performance. And then we have lesson 6, that is about close project or phase. Now, these are 6 lessons that we will be covering in this course. As I mentioned, if you recall, I have just mentioned in this exam, there are 3 domains, right? So for example, let me draw that again here for you. So we have people domain or where leadership expertise are needed. We have processes domain where technical knowledge is required. And we have business understanding, where business acumen is relevant. Okay, now lesson 1 is relevant to business domain. So with lesson 1, we will be learning business domain. That is 8% of the exam. This is what I explained earlier. Then we have starting the project, lesson 2, that is relevant to people domain. So this is process domain. Lesson 3 is also process domain. Lesson 6 is also process domain. You understand? And then we have people domain, where lesson 4, we will be talking about leadership expertise, and lesson 5 is also leadership. So this is how our course is structured to cover 100% of the exam content, right? So now we will be starting with first lesson, that is business environment. So before I jump to lesson 1, if you have any questions so far regarding whatever we have discussed, feel free to ask. Any question about whatever we have discussed? Anyone, please.